I was raised in a family where loyalty meant everything. At least that's what I believed. We had Sunday dinners, worked side by side, helped each other through everything. At the heart of it all was our grandfather, the founder of a construction company that built half the city. And by we, I mean me and my cousin, Eric. Eric and I were born just a year apart. We grew up like brothers, built forts together, got into trouble together, and when we got older, we worked at Grandpa's company together. He handled sales and clients. I handled finance, operations, and strategy. We were different, but we made a good team. And Grandpa, he loved that. He always said, "One day this will be both of yours, equal partners." We believed him, and we waited for the day we'd step up. But life doesn't follow scripts. Grandpa passed away. Suddenly, no long hospital stay, no last conversations, just a heart attack one night, and he was gone. We were devastated. I didn't just lose a mentor. I lost the man who held our family together. But even through the grief, I held on to one thing, that he trusted both of us to carry on what he built. The will was supposed to be clear. It had been talked about for years. Equal shares. Eric and I, 50-50 owners. No surprises. But at the reading, everything went to Eric. The company, the assets, the name. I didn't understand. I thought it was a mistake. But the lawyer looked me in the eyes and said, "Your grandfather changed the will 6 months ago." No explanation, no backup letter, just a new signature and everything under Eric's name. I looked at Eric. He didn't flinch, didn't apologize, didn't even look uncomfortable. He said, "You were never meant to run this place. You're a numbers guy, not a leader." Then he smiled, like he was doing me a favor. That moment, it felt like something inside me broke. The betrayal wasn't just business, it was personal. He didn't just cut me out. He took everything we were supposed to build together and claimed it as his own. And just like that, I was gone. But I didn't get angry, didn't scream, didn't drag the family into it. I walked out and I got to work. Because if Eric thought I'd disappear quietly, he had no idea what I was capable of. After Eric cut me out, I didn't fight him in court, didn't plead with the family, didn't throw a tantrum. Instead, I disappeared, silently, but not in defeat. I knew the company inside and out, better than he ever did, and I knew he wouldn't last. Not without help, not with his ego, not in this market. So I gave it time, and I started building my plan. First, I created a company of my own, small, quiet, not in construction. That would be too obvious. I went into equipment leasing, same industry, same clients, different angle. I leased out machines, bulldozers, backhoes, excavators, and I priced them well, very well, because I wasn't trying to get rich yet. I was trying to get close. Within 6 months, I had my first contracts. Guess who some of those machines ended up working with? Falcon Contracting, Eric's company. He didn't even realize they came from me. I had set up a different brand name, but that wasn't all I did. Second, I hired away his people, quietly, one by one. Project managers, site supervisors, even an accountant who knew all of Eric's dirty little shortcuts. I paid them well and treated them better because I didn't want their loyalty for now. I wanted it for later. And third, I watched, waited, and documented everything. Eric was impulsive, cocky, always chasing bigger contracts, faster, riskier builds. He started taking shortcuts I warned him about years ago. cutting corners on permits, paying suppliers late, taking massive loans to fund projects before securing full payment, and worse, he was months behind on taxes. Every bad move he made, I wrote down. Screenshots, invoices, email chains from employees who trusted me more than him. Even city inspectors, people I'd built relationships with, started telling me things, like how one of Eric's sites failed 2 inspections in a row, or how his subcontractors were threatening to sue for non-payment. He didn't know it yet, but he was walking into a trap, and I was holding the rope. The cracks started showing about a year after Grandpa passed. Small at first, then fast, then loud. One of Eric's biggest contracts, a government housing project, got delayed. Permits weren't filed right, paperwork was missing, corners were cut. The city pulled out, millions lost. Just like that. Suddenly, Eric had 5 crews and no jobs. Suppliers stopped getting paid. Some demanded cash up front. Others walked. Employees started quitting. The ones he hadn't driven off already. And payroll? Late, then delayed, then frozen. I started getting texts from people I used to work with. "Hey man, are you hiring? Eric's not paying us again." You were right. At this point, I had 2 businesses. The equipment leasing firm, steady and growing, and a new construction company just registered. You know what I named it? Greystone Projects, my grandfather's middle name. That name meant something to the clients, to the community, and to me. And just like that, I started making phone calls. One by one, I reached out to Eric's former clients. And I didn't trash him. I didn't even mention him. I just said, "We're new, but we've got good people. People you know. People who get the job done right." And you know what? They listened, because Eric had already burned those bridges. All I had to do was show up with wood and nails. The tipping point came 6 months later. Eric was in deep. $700,000 in debt, loans defaulting, equipment repossessed, reputation shot, projects canceled mid-build. He was desperate, and that's when I walked in. I invited him to lunch, sat across from him, calm, confident. He looked tired, beaten, panicked. "I need help, man," he finally said. "I can't float this anymore." I said, "I'll buy the company, right now. I'll assume the debt, the crews, the projects. You walk away clean." He stared at me. He didn't have a choice. The banks were circling. Lawsuits were coming. He was one missed payment away from losing it all. He said yes. The paperwork was signed within a week. I didn't gloat, didn't rub it in. Eric handed me the keys to the company our grandfather built, the one he stole from me, now buried in debt, broken relationships, and burned trust. But I didn't take it back for nostalgia. I took it to restore it. Because this company, it was never meant to be Eric's alone. It was ours. And if he didn't want to honor that legacy, I would. First thing I did, change the name. Falcon Contracting became Greystone Contracting and Development. A full rebrand, new logo, new leadership, same roots. People noticed, people remembered. Second, I rehired the good ones, the site managers who left when things got shady, the accountant who saw the financial wreckage coming, even 2 foremen who hadn't worked under Eric in over a year, but still called my grandfather boss. And third, I paid the debts, quietly, one by one. I didn't dodge responsibility, even when it wasn't my mess, because reputation matters, and mine was bulletproof. Word started to spread. Old clients came back, new ones followed. Banks extended credit again. Suppliers gave us fair deals. And most importantly, the crew, they believed again. They showed up early, worked late, because they trusted me. They knew I wasn't just some suit who showed up to save the day. I'd been there, in the dirt, in the meetings, in the chaos. I earned it. Meanwhile, Eric disappeared. No one heard from him for months. Rumor had it he tried to start a consulting firm. It failed. Then he applied for sales jobs. I know for a fact he ended up working at a competitor, on commission, in a shared office. Some days I drive past the building. I don't say anything. I don't need to, because he knows. He knows that I run the company now, that the name on every billboard, every crane, every truck is mine, that the office that once locked me out is now my corner office, and that everything he took, I took it back, is just doing it better. It's been 3 years since I took the company back. 3 years of rebuilding, of late nights, tough calls, and second chances. But we made it, and we didn't just survive, we thrived. Revenue doubled. We opened a second office, hired over 60 people, and completed projects that my grandfather would have been proud of. Sometimes I wonder what he'd think of all this, what he'd say if he knew what happened between Eric and me. But deep down, I think he would have understood. Because this company was never about money. It wasn't about contracts or awards or trucks on the road. It was about integrity, about building something that lasted, about doing the right thing, even when it cost you. And that's what I held on to. Even when I was fired, even when I was betrayed, even when I was rebuilding alone, I kept my head down and I did the work. People sometimes ask me if I regret not fighting harder back then, if I should have taken Eric to court, if I should have gone public. But here's the thing, revenge doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes the best revenge is building a life so strong, so unshakable, so successful, that the people who tried to destroy you can't help but watch from the sidelines. Today, when I walk through the job sites, people nod, they smile, they say, "It's good to see someone running this place the right way." And that's the real win. Not the money, not the comeback, not even the company. The real win is knowing I kept the promise my grandfather made, even when no one else did. So if you're ever cut out, betrayed, or underestimated, don't waste your energy on shouting matches or petty revenge. Do the work. Play the long game. Let your success speak louder than your enemies ever could, because sometimes the sweetest revenge is just doing it better.